No, because that has to, you have to add the bond payments into there to get a grand total. I don't have a grand total. It's somewhere around 1.17 something.
Okay. You get a motion to approve the consent agenda. Glenn makes a motion, Jamie seconds, clarification, discussion, call roll.
Glenn.
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
James.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Reggie.
Yes.
Linda.
Yes.
Okay, our first order of business is to sign in the newly elected officials. If we can have James Breckenridge, the mayor, and his wife come up front. And then Dr. Slider, Reggie, Walter, and myself, as soon as we're done, we'll come up.
I'll just read a paragraph at a time and you repeat after me. For the oath of office, raise your hand, please. I, James Breckenridge, do solemnly swear and affirm that I possess all the qualifications prescribed by law and the ordinances of the city of St. Robert, Missouri, for the office of mayor.
I, James Breckenridge, do solemnly swear and affirm that I possess all the qualifications prescribed by the law and ordinances of the city of St. Robert, Missouri, for the office of mayor.
Of the city of St. Robert, Pulaski County, Missouri, that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America, the Constitution of the state of Missouri, the provisions of the state statutes affecting cities of the fourth class, and the ordinances of the city of St. Robert, Missouri, and I will faithfully perform the duties of my office and respect the confidences and information which comes into my possession as mayor in the city of St. Robert, for which I was duly elected April 8, 2025.
Of the city of St. Robert, Pulaski County, Missouri, that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America, the Constitution of the state of Missouri, and the provisions of the state statutes affecting the cities of the fourth class and the ordinances of the city of St. Robert, Missouri. And I will faithfully perform the duties of my office and respect the confidences and information which comes into my possession as mayor in the city of St. Robert, for which I was duly elected April 8, 2025.
Congratulations.
None of that funny stuff. Sam, are you going to come up?
Yeah, I know. Yes. Right.
Nope.
Oh, I see. Let's see. Walter signed this. Because I have no idea who went on. Never met him. Never seen him. Seen him for years. Oh, good. I was like, I'm not going to change my name. George Orton, Walter Reese was right across the street from the corner. Walter's
Son, does she want to come up?
Son, do you want to go up there? You want to go up there next to George? Stand back here, buddy. Absolutely. Hey, I tried to call you, but I guess you're not.
Whenever I read
I was
it,
just
you
reminding you
will
about
cross
the
forward to your names, please.
Whenever I read.
All right. Oath of office, I,
I,
and your name, please.
Reggie Hall,
Oh, my Lord. Do solemnly swear and affirm that I possess all the qualifications prescribed by law and the ordinances of the city of St. Robert, Missouri for the office of the city of St. Robert, Missouri, Pulaski County, and I will support the Constitution of the United States of America, the Constitution of the state of Missouri, the provisions of the state statutes affecting the cities of the fourth class and ordinances of the city of St. Robert, Missouri, and I will faithfully perform the duties of my office and respect the confidences and information which comes into my possession as alderman in the city of St. Robert, for which I was duly elected April 8, 2025.
of the city of St. Robert, Pulaski County, Missouri, that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America, the Constitution of the state of Missouri, the provisions of the state statutes affecting cities of the fourth class, and the ordinances of the city of St. Robert, Missouri, and I will faithfully perform the duties of my office and respect the confidences and information which comes into my possession as alderman in the city of St. Robert, for which I was duly elected April 8, 2025.
Congratulations.
Congratulations on your re-election to the Board of Aldermen.
For support.
We want to continue to thank our outgoing mayor, Mayor Larson, and we've come up with a jacket we want to present to him that shows the three phases of this man. In the old days, we used to hear the GIs after they've been overseas in war say, "I'll be glad when I can retire." But we have changed that. We don't want to live to retire. We want to retire and live. And he has been a prime example of that, in that he was a teacher, a principal, as well as an outstanding military career, and as the mayor for such a number of years. So we just want to put him to one last test. If he will be obedient, say, "Come on, Talibou." Trey Vian? Okay, good. Now he is an official Renaissance man.
Uh-oh, yeah, I'm not.
Okay, we're going to go ahead, before we go into a quick reception break, we want to go ahead and do a certification of the results. We need to read those, Anita?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you go ahead and please read the results of this and certify the election results?
From the Pulaski County Clerk, Dave Ernst, St. Robert Mayor, number of precincts, there were 4 reporting, 100%, total votes were 309. James Breckenridge, 139 votes, 44.98%. Gene Newkirk, 87 votes, 28.16%. John Moore, 81 votes, 26.21%. Write-ins were 2. St. Robert Alderman, Ward 1. Number of precincts reporting was 4. Total votes 118. Charles Slider 50, 42.37%. Susan Davidson 45, 38.14%. Troy Davis 19.49%. Write-in 0. St. Robert, Alderman, Ward 2, 3 precincts, votes 45, Reggie Hall, 43 votes for 95.56, write-in, 2 votes for 4.44%. St. Robert, Alderman, Ward 3, 3 precincts, total votes 77, Walter Reed 73 votes, 94.81% with 4 write-ins, 5.19%. St. Robert, Alderman, Ward 4, number of precincts 3, 42 votes. George Lawrence 35 at 83.33 with 7 write-ins at 6.67, and that's a certified election vote, Mayor.
Yep, State of Missouri, County of Pulaski, I, David Ernst, of the County Commission of Pulaski County, Missouri, hereby certify the above and forego to be the correct abstract of votes cast in the general municipal election held on the 8th day of April 2025. In testimony whereof, I hereby set my hand and affix the seal of said commission at my office in Waynesville, Missouri, this 14th day of April 2025. Signed, David Ernst, Pulaski County Clerk. Can I get a motion to approve? Motion from Linda, second by Glenn. Call the roll.
Glenn.
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Reggie.
Yes.
Linda. Charles.
Yes.
George.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much for the certification of election results. We are now going to take a quick intermission break to celebrate all those who were sworn in today. So it's 5:13. We will go ahead and take a 17-minute break, and we will reconvene the city council meeting at 5:30. Recess, please. Thank you.
Right. They don't have it. Wanna write that on? That's cross out. That's something. Yeah. So if you guys want to you guys start people signing. Well, that's why I asked Mike, why not? Well, you already know. I signed. Yeah.
I can hear you, there's two.
Thank you very much.
That is a Mosley crew up there.
I'm going home.
Okay.
Well,
wait, I need somebody in the picture with me.
He's gonna make a minute.
I don't know you.
You have to place your camera now. Okay, so you rush it in your backyard. No way. Appreciate it. Thank you. Did you get it? Hey, see what it is, so see. I want to get a photograph.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get started back up. First off, I do want to apologize. I was supposed to read a little quick few speech that I had written to thank everybody, but I'm not going to do that now. Everybody's gone. I'm just going to go ahead and I'll get that posted as another date on social media. So we're going to go ahead and get into the city council reorganization. Our mayor pro tem, fortunately, could not be here tonight. So I'm going to pass the baton to Reggie to go ahead and move forward with the start of our council reorganization with the mayor pro tem. Reggie, floor is yours.
All the board members and, everybody here in Billings. I'm going to start this by asking for a nomination for mayor pro tem. Asking anybody for any nomination.
I'll nominate, Walter.
Do I have, I'll second that. I have a second. Can you call the roll, please?
Glenn,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Walter,
Yes.
Reggie,
Yes.
Linda, yes, Charles,
Yes.
George.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Reggie. Motion's passed. Congratulations, Walter, on being the mayor pro tem. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. We'll get a quick photo if you don't mind.
With the vote.
One moment, I'm sorry.
Allison.
I was muting. One more.
Thank you. Yeah.
Look forward to work.
Absolutely. Thank you to the aldermen, alder ladies for that. All right, we're going to go ahead and finish up the council, city council reorganization. Anita's writing with a new phone number on the sheet, so we'll go ahead and hand those out once she's done with that. Basically, it has all the city council assignments, and we'll go ahead and take care of that. Do you have them all? No, it's okay. Don't worry. Take your time. We'll get it done shortly thereafter.
Okay.
But we're gonna go ahead and first move on. Give me just a second. All right, the next thing we need to do is a proclamation for the Fair Housing Month. And let me go ahead and find that, please.
April is Fair Housing Month, and we take community development block grant money, and it's one of the requirements that we have a fair housing portion proclamation.
Yep. The proclamation of Fair Housing Month, whereas on April 11th, 2025 marks the 57th anniversary of the passage of the Fair Housing Act, which inculcates a national policy of fair housing for all who live in the United States. And whereas the Congress of the United States passed the Civil Rights Act of 1968, of which Title VIII declared that the law of the land would now guarantee the rights of equal housing opportunity. And whereas the Fair Housing Act prohibits discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, handicap, family status, and natural origin,
And whereas the city of St. Robert, Missouri additionally prohibits discrimination, and whereas fair housing is a positive community good, and whereas economic stability, community health, and human relations in all communities are improved by diversity and integration. And whereas acts of housing discrimination and barriers to equal housing opportunities are repugnant to a common sense of decency and fairness. Now, therefore, I, James Breckenridge, Mayor of the City of St. Robert, Missouri, do hereby proclaim that the month of April 2025 as Fair Housing Month. In testimony whereof, I hereon do set my hand and affix the seal of the City of St. Robert the 15th day of March 2025. I will sign this and pass this off to Frederica to sign the rest. There you go. Okay, now we are going to move on to the next item up, which is 3.5, an ordinance, or 3.6, sorry, apologize, I wrote it on my cheat sheet wrong. 3.6, the Dixon dispatch termination. Carrie, Anita, would you like to go ahead and explain that?
Carrie will, sure. I don't know that you're aware, but in March, I was appointed at the Dixon City Council, so that is kind of involved in this. When St. Robert upgraded its equipment at the police department, we were under a contract where we were providing some, you might say respite dispatching services for Dixon, so after hours and weekends. But their equipment is older now than ours, and it's no longer compatible. It doesn't work. And so they were asking to be released from the contract. I believe it's an annual contract, and it has some operations, a provision in there to terminate it, but to terminate it now would not fit in those provisions. And so, Mayor Lordson had agreed that since it was no longer feasible for us to interact in that way, that we would release them, and they've agreed to do that as well. The second part of that is because I'm now the city council for Dixon, we did do a conflict waiver. This was a completely mutually agreeable situation. So I think that, because Tyson and I are in the same law firm, we have to disclose that, we can't be on both sides of a contract. But because it's completely agreed to, that at this point you can waive that conflict just to take care of this one issue. We don't have a whole lot of issues with the city of Dixon, so I'm not anticipating this to come up a lot. So that's the ordinance.
Okay, any discussion from the city council members, questions for Carrie or anybody else? None?
Are they gonna dispatch on their own? I'm assuming.
They're moving over to the county because the county's equipment apparently is still compatible with what they use. So they do their own during the day.
And they signed with the sheriff's department, did they?
Yeah.
Contract with the sheriff's department? Yeah, for coverage and everything. I didn't agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right, we'll go ahead and get, Carrie, can you read it as a bill, please?
Bill number 25-033, an ordinance approving an agreement to terminate the agreement for dispatching services between City of St. Robert and City of Dixon, and approving disclosure, acknowledgement, and conflict waiver.
Do I have a motion? Motion by Walter, second by Glenn. Clarification, discussion, call the roll.
Glenn,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Walter,
Yes.
Reggie,
Yes.
Linda, Charles,
Yes.
George.
Yes.
All right. Second reading. Carrie, can you read it as a bill, please?
Yes. Bill number 25-033, an ordinance approving an agreement to terminate agreement for dispatching services between City of St. Robert and City of Dixon, and approving disclosure, acknowledgement, and conflict waiver.
Do I have a motion? Motion by Walter, second by George. Clarification, discussion, call the roll.
Glenn,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Walter,
Yes.
Reggie,
Yes.
Linda, Charles,
Yes.
George.
Yes.
Carrie, can you read it as an ordinance, please?
Ordinance number 4143, An ordinance approving an agreement to terminate agreement for dispatching services between City of St. Robert and City of Dixon and approving disclosure, acknowledgement, and conflict waiver.
Do I have a motion? Linda? And second by Glenn. Clarification, discussion, call the roll.
Glenn.
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Reggie.
Yes.
Linda. Charles.
Yes.
George.
Yes.
Thank you very much for that. Moving on to 3.7. Tice, Anita, do you want to have been discuss anything about this?
Yeah, we need to.
Yeah, please.
Okay, can you have you handed out we're gonna have to substitute, the ordinance. You have the contract, but we're gonna substitute the ordinance. I'm representing the, sponsors, the city of Waynesville and the City of St. Robert on the airport board. There's a lot of moving parts here. I was asked by John Doyle to review the contract. We got a block grant for about $700 and some thousand from MoDOT. Everything's comes down. We have FAA, but we got all kinds of moving parts. We've got about 6 different contracts. What happened is MoDOT, for some reason, I think felt it was an original block grant contract. So they put in all the forest clauses in like federal contracts and all the normal stuff that we already had complied with back in 2018. Our first block grant, this is the continuation of a block grant that's been going on for some time. We've already made 2 draws on the money, and we've already complied with all of the items that were set forth in the contract. I modified the contract, deleted most of the items, and they submitted it back to MoDOT. MoDOT, it was not able to get it back to us in time for the 9th. The contract calls for all April 30th for us to have executed the contract. John called me a little bit before 5 today and told me that he had talked to MoDOT, and if we put the ordinance in the language that I had indicated we would do, and Waynesville will do the same, then we can go ahead and do our ordinance tonight. And the language is that we're going to authorize the mayor to modify the language with my assistance in the event that MoDOT wants to modify the language further, as long as it's not substantive. The only thing that's substantive in this contract is the kind of the block grant and how we spend it. So the language is a little different in this ordinance. MoDOT has indicated they will accept our ordinance, and Waynesville will pass it Thursday night. So that's why I'm giving you this new ordinance last minute. I'm sorry, but I couldn't push MoDOT to go any faster. So,
Great explanation. Thank you. Any questions?
This morning.
That word did not work.
Can I correct the caption there? We did it quickly. The word should be approving, not appointing in the caption, please, sir. Would you modify that interlineation? It should be approving instead of appointing in the caption.
Title.
Oh, in the title. Instead of approving, it should be appointing.
No,
Approving.
instead of appointing.
Oh, it says approving on mine.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, are you looking at the right one?
I'm not looking at the new one.
I think
Once you get a gate,
Yes.
the new one's got the title.
There's one that's not.
Right, it says approving now. Okay, any other questions or comments before we move forward? Quick, Carrie, can you please read it as a bill?
Bill number 25-034, an ordinance approving MoDOT state block grant agreement subject to modification of language which is not substantive as requested by MoDOT.
All right, do I have a motion? Motion by Walter, second by Reggie. Clarification, discussion, call the roll.
Glenn,
Gary, what was the language that was confusing that you folks were talking about? Is it just this, or is it the contract itself? The language in the contract?
What contract language are you wanting to modify?
I'm not sure. I'm sure that MoDOT lawyers will come back with some modification. Lawyers do that. And, my main issue was deleting. Well, what I did is because we have so many contracts, we have 5 or 6 different contracts. I made an integrated contract out of all of them with FAA being priority and come down. And I put 2 paragraphs in there, but I'm sure that their attorneys are going to come up with some language changes. And all I want to do, as long as they don't change the amount of money we get and the terms and how we spend it, I don't care as long as that's not subsidy to those issues. They're going to change after we pass it, we're going to have some changes.
But it doesn't affect, like you said, how we spend it or. Yes, please.
Okay, discussion, call the roll, please.
Glenn,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Walter,
Yes.
Reggie,
Yes.
Linda, Charles,
Yes.
George.
Yes.
Carrie, read it as a bill, please.
Bill number 25-034, an ordinance approving MoDOT state block grant agreement subject to modification of language which is not substantive as requested by MoDOT.
All right, do I have a motion? Motion, George, second by, Reggie. Sorry. Clarification, discussion, call the roll.
Glenn,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Walter,
Yes.
Reggie,
Yes.
Linda, Charles,
Yes.
George.
Yes.
Read it as an ordinance, please.
Ordinance number 4144, an ordinance approving MoDOT state block grant agreement subject to modification of language which is not substantive as requested by MoDOT.
Okay, moving right along. You called the motion, I'm sorry, thank you very much. Do I have a motion? Linda, Glenn, seconds it. Clarification, discussion, call the roll.
Glenn,
Yes.
Michael,
Yeah.
Walter,
Yeah.
Reggie,
Yes.
Linda, Charles,
No.
George.
Yeah.
Now we're moving on. Thank you very much for that. All right, moving on to 3.8, an ordinance appointing a substitute director of the Board of Directors for Central Ozark Utility and Service. Anita, would you like to speak on that?
That is, Mayor Lawrenson sat on co-USA, and this replaces Mayor Lawrenson with Mayor Breckenridge.
Easy switch. Any questions before we move forward? All right, Carrie, can you read it as a bill, please?
Bill number 25-035, an ordinance appointing a substitute director to the Board of Directors for Central Ozark Utility and Service Alliance.
All right, do I have a motion on the reading of the bill? Linda? And Charles seconds. Clarification, discussion, call the roll.
Glenn,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Walter,
Yes.
Reggie,
Yes.
Linda, Charles,
Yes.
George.
Yes.
Carrie, second reading, please.
Bill number 25-035, an ordinance appointing a substitute director to the Board of Directors for Central Ozarks Utility and Service Alliance.
Do I have a motion? Glenn, motion, Walter seconds. Clarification, discussion, call the roll, please.
Glenn,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Walter,
Yes.
Reggie,
Yes.
Linda, Charles,
Yes.
George.
Yes.
Carrie, read it as an ordinance, please.
Ordinance number 4145, an ordinance appointing a substitute director to the Board of Directors for Central Ozarks Utility and Service Alliance.
Do I have a motion on the ordinance? Motion by Reggie, second by Linda. Clarification, discussion, call the roll.
Glenn,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Walter,
Yes.
Reggie,
Yes.
Linda, Charles,
Yes.
George.
Yes.
That one is done. Thank you. Moving on to 3.9, ordinance reappointing Anita to serve as the director on the Board of Directors for Central Ozarks Utility Service Alliance. Anita?
This is my regular term. It's up at the end of the month, so it'd be for another 5 years on co-USA.
Okay, Carrie, can you read it? Any questions?
No.
Read it as a bill, Karen, please.
Bill number 25-036, an ordinance reappointing Anita Ivy to serve as the director on the Board of Directors for Central Ozarks Utility and Service Alliance.
Do I have a motion? A motion by George, second by Walter. Clarification, discussion, call the roll.
Glenn.
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Reggie.
Yes.
Linda.
Yeah.
Charles.
Yes.
George.
Yes.
Carrie, second reading, please.
Bill number 25-036, an ordinance reappointing Anita Ivy to serve as a director on the Board of Directors for Central Ozark Utility and Service Alliance.
Do I have a motion on the bill? Reggie motions, Glenn seconds it. Clarification, discussion, call the roll.
Glenn.
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Reggie.
Yes.
Linda. Charles.
Yes.
George.
Yes.
Carrie, read that ordinance, please.
Ordinance number 4146, an ordinance reappointing Anita Ivy to serve as a director on the Board of Directors for Central Ozark Utility and Service Alliance.
Do I have a motion on the ordinance? Motion by Reggie, second by Glenn. Clarification, discussion, call the roll.
Glenn.
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Reggie.
Yes.
Linda.
Yeah.
Charles.
Yes.
George.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to 3.10, an ordinance authorizing the disposition of city records. Frederica, would you like to?
By MML, we are authorized to destroy records over a certain period of time. And all these records have met the 5-year period or longer, and we're gonna destroy them and have them shredded down at the transfer station.
What type of records?
It's gonna, I mean, the list is there, but we're looking at previous account invoices, applications from customers that's over 5 years old, that no longer has an active account with us. Personnel files that's over 10 years old that we don't have to keep any longer.
How did we get that from MML or state of Missouri?
I'm sorry, state of Missouri. And then we've got a record retention schedule that we keep in office that we watch this over.
Do you guys get a shredded truck to come in and do that?
No, we take it down to the transfer station and shred it down there.
They have a big one.
We just put it all in a box and dump it and it shreds it.
So if a private, like the senior center, we have stuff that we need to shred.
You can make an appointment with the transfer station and they'll take it over there and shred
They
it.
do walk-ins on Tuesday.
Yep.
I know because I did it. And an appointment for any other time, now this is like me.
I didn't know that.
Mhm.
And it's the secure shred.
It's a secure shred and it does the crosshatch shredding.
All right, sounds good. Carrie, can you read your bill, please?
Bill number 25-037, an ordinance authorizing the disposal of city records.
Do I have a motion on the reading of the bill? Motion by Charles, second by George. Can clarification discussion, call the roll.
Glenn.
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Reggie.
Yes.
Linda.
Yeah.
Charles.
Yes.
George.
Yes.
Carrie, second reading, please.
Bill number 25-037, an ordinance authorizing the disposal of city records.
Do I have a motion? Motion by Walters, second by Glenn. Clarification discussion, call the roll.
Glenn.
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Reggie.
Yes.
Linda.
Yeah.
Charles.
Yes.
George.
Carrie, read as an ordinance, please.
Ordinance number 4147, an ordinance authorizing the disposal of city records.
Do I have a motion? Mike, motion, second by Glenn. Clarification discussion, call the roll.
Glenn.
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Reggie.
Yes.
Linda.
Yeah.
Charles.
Yes.
George.
Yes.
All right, moving on to 3.11, an ordinance filling the vacancy of the unexpired term of the office of Ward 3 Alderman by the appointment of a successor. Favorite part of tonight. We need to go through everything first before we bring him up? Or
Do what?
I figure we should let the board or the city council approve it first, and then we can do this.
Okay.
All right, Carrie, can you read it as a bill, please?
Bill number 25-038, an ordinance filling the vacancy of the unexpired term of the office of Ward 3 Alderman by the appointment of a successor.
Before I make a motion, I was supposed to, I got you, Charles. I was supposed to explain. I was directed by the city staff to appoint someone to replace me. And I think you all remember Michael Hanks. He was the only one that came to the sewer and water increase town hall that we did. He's one of the newest members in our town. And so he's getting ready to retire here from his daytime job. And so I know he would be a great asset. And it was an easy selection. Air Force veteran, won't hold it against them. A lieutenant colonel in the security forces, but a dear friend of this community, for him and his wife Terry, who moved here from Illinois, and now we'll call this their retirement home. So I do apologize for not reading that prior to. All right, can I have a motion on the reading of the bill first? So Charles, thank you, second. Second by Mike. Clarification, discussion, call the roll.
Glenn.
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Reggie.
Yes.
Linda.
Yes.
Charles.
Yes.
George.
Yes.
Carrie, second reading, please.
Bill number 25-038, an ordinance filling the vacancy of the unexpired term of the office of Ward 3 Alderman by the appointment of a successor.
Do I have a motion for the bill? Motion by Linda, second by Reggie. Clarification, discussion, call the roll.
Glenn.
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Reggie.
Yes.
Linda.
Yes.
Charles.
Yes.
George.
Yes.
Carrie, read as an ordinance, please.
Ordinance number 4148, an ordinance filling the vacancy of the unexpired term of the office of Ward 3 Alderman by the appointment of a successor.
Do I have a motion on the reading of the ordinance? Motion by Mike, second by Walter. Clarification, discussion, call the roll.
Glenn.
Yes.
Michael. Walter.
Yes.
Reggie.
Yes.
Linda. Charles.
Yes.
George.
Yes.
Also, Anita, can you do the honor of
I sure
swearing in
can.
our newest alderman? Mike, please join us. Harry, please join us up front.
I tried to get her to come up. She told me no. She just listened to you.
I mean,
He wants to get back and, the picture taker. Yes. Thank you. You go ahead. You have to do it while you're reading. Yeah.
Oath of office, if you raise your right hand, please. I, Michael Hayes, do solemnly swear and affirm that I possess all the qualifications prescribed by law and the ordinances of the city of St. Robert, Missouri for the office of Ward 3 Alderman.
I, Michael Hanks, do solemnly swear and affirm that I possess the qualifications prescribed by law and ordinances in the city of St. Robert, Missouri for the office of Alderman, Ward 3.
Of the city of St. Robert, Pulaski County, Missouri, that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America, the Constitution of the state of Missouri, the provisions of the state statutes affecting cities of the fourth class, and the ordinances of the city of St. Robert, Missouri, and I will faithfully perform the duties of my office and respect the confidences and information which comes into my possession as alderman in the city of St. Robert, for which I was appointed April the 15th.
Okay. Of the city of St. Robert, Pulaski County, Missouri, that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America, the Constitution of the state of Missouri, the provisions of the state statutes affecting cities of the fourth class and the ordinances of the city of St. Robert, Missouri, and that I will faithfully perform the duties of my office and respect the confidences and information which comes into my possession as alderman in the city of St. Robert, for which I was duly
Duly appointed
April 15, 2025.
Yes, sir. Welcome.
Gotta get my hug in. Proud of you, Mike. Thank you very much. You are going. Yeah, right there. I'm gonna go grab your nutmeg. Thanks, Harry, for letting me do this. Working hard.
Yeah, you never use.
They gave law to you.
I grabbed the wrong.
I'm not very open. If I look on.
All right. We'll wait till our newest alderman, he's gotta get us drinks from now on. Whatever we need. You know, like the table at the dining area, you know, junior enlisted. All right, let's go ahead and move on to 3.12. Let's see, that is going to be ordinance approving an agreement between the city and American Water Service Group LLC for solid waste services on Leonardwood. Anita, can you quickly explain to the
Yes, this isn't part of our Fort Leonard Wood trash. It's a separate contract and they were taking care of it before. So American Water, we already have a relationship with them through Co-USA called me and wanted to know if we take care of it.
So this is an ordinance, for us to be in business with them.
The problem we have is that we cannot provide services for corporate entities, private entities. I took the position on this one after talking with Anita at length that American Water would be part of our statutory ability to coordinate and provide services to the post. So we went ahead and did it. We can't do this for other folks that are private. We can do it for governments. But we're gonna take our chances on this one. I think it's gonna be fine. But, I took the position it's on Fort Leonard Wood and we're providing utilities and services for the military. So I think we can do it.
Great, thanks, Ty, I appreciate it. Any questions from the city council? All right, Carrie, can you read this bill, please?
Bill number 25-039, an ordinance approving an agreement between the city and American Water Military Services Group LLC to perform solid waste services on Fort Leonard Wood, a U.S. Army military base.
Do I have a motion on the reading of the bill? Mike's motions. Mike number one, we're gonna go Mike number one. And Mike number two, second. Clarification, discussion, call the roll.
I'm having to write this down. Okay.
One and two.
I got it. Flynn,
Yes.
Kim one. Oh, you guys are messing with me here. Okay, Michael two.
Yes.
Walter.
Sir Walter.
Sir Walter. King Reggie. Linda.
My family calls me Princess.
Princess Linda.
I
I'm on my darn list.
Yes.
Sir Charles.
Yes.
King George.
King George. Okay.
All right, awesome. Carrie, can a second reading of the bill, please? Or second reading, please?
Bill number 25-039, an ordinance approving an agreement between the city and American Water Military Services Group LLC to perform solid waste services on Fort Leonard Wood, a U.S. Army military base.
Great. Do I have a motion on the reading of the bill? Then the motion, second by Mike two. Clarification, discussion, call the roll.
Glenn.
That would be Jester.
Jester Glenn.
Yes.
Okay. Mike number one.
Yes.
Number two.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Reggie.
Way out to the survey.
Sir Reggie. Princess Linda. Sir Charles. And King George.
Oh my goodness. Okay, Carrie, can you read the ordinance, please?
Ordinance number 4149, an ordinance approving an agreement between the city and American Water Military Services Group LLC to perform solid waste services on Fort Leonard Wood, a U.S. Army military base.
Do I have a motion on the reading of the ordinance? Motion by Reggie, second by Glenn. Clarification, discussion, call the roll.
Glenn.
Yes.
Mike number one. Number two.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Reggie.
Yes.
Linda.
You know, Ty has a son named Ty Junior, and they call him T2. Maybe you could call him M2.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I'll try to remember that. It'll never happen. George. Charles.
Yes.
See what you're doing to me?
Yes.
George.
All right, perfect. Moving on, 313, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute an animal control and animal care contract between the city of St. Robert, city of Waynesville. I know that this was coming back up for some clarification in the wording. We had discussion on this already. Anita, can you kind of quickly explain to the city council what we discussed?
There was just, one, clarification we had to get. It's a 5-year contract. We can get out of it with a year's notice. And the clarification was on evidentiary dogs. It said in there that, we would be charged the rate, boarding rate at what it was at the time. And I talked to John, and because it was a 5-year contract, they couldn't pin down a certain amount because they wouldn't know what it would be at that time. But it clearly states that in the contract.
So basically what we're saying is it's going to be whatever the kennel rate is at that time.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Okay. All right, any questions from the city? Yes, Glenn, go ahead.
Does this particular animal shelter have any plans in the near future to expand, to make it bigger?
Well, John's talked about it, but I don't know if they've made any formal actions moving forward.
And the reason I ask because there's a lot of people that see obviously stray dogs in neighborhoods, things like that, and when they call the shelter, it's always, well, just leave the dog run, we can't take it. So that's a concern. I mean, if we're gonna get into a contract and people have loose dogs, they gotta have a place to take the dog. And if the animal shelter is saying, let it run, is this really a true animal shelter? Is it one for time? That's why I'm asking, are they ever gonna expand? Are they gonna change, is there a change in policies in the contract?
They do have plans for expansion according to their mayor, because I talked to him about it, because I had a concern. He said they do have a plan for expansion, but they don't know when they're gonna do it. But I mean, an animal shelter that takes in 30 dogs is better than no animal shelter where they take in none.
No, I'm not questioning the amount of dogs. I'm questioning the fact that when people call and they get an answer, it's just leave it run without an explanation. That's a concern.
That's why I talked to the mayor, because I called because there was some puppies running loose in my neighborhood, and they said, we don't have room. And I said, well, what kind of shelter is this anyway? But anyway, so I asked Sean about it, and he said that, when they're full, they're full. There's nothing they can do. So,
I'm sure every city is challenged
Yeah.
with that problem with stray animals, especially people that don't do the stuff.
Oh, yeah, and then
Right,
don't care about it.
Well, it's definitely something we can have a discussion with Sean. I'll bring it up and we'll see how it goes.
Pricing is, I'm assuming the pricing is gonna be a little higher because of goods have gone up.
That's the whole point. It'll go up probably. If he does raise the rates, it'll just go up according to the raising the rates. We're not gonna lock down a certain rate. It'll be what the standard charges for an all.
we will pay them a certain amount a year in our contract, but for those dogs that are held for evidentiary reasons, we don't know for sure what we'll be paying on that for the next 5 years.
Then how much money are we agreeing to help or?
I forget.
For the year, it's $68,000, and every year after that, there's a 4% operation increase.
Any other questions? All right, Carrie, please read his bill.
Before I read, I believe I sent this over for the last meeting and then it was pulled for clarification, so the date needs to be updated to April 15th. Down at the bottom, in the all cap section. So,
Oh, yeah, I see. Yeah. Okay. Want me to just mark it?
if you could just delineate it, and we'll read it with that correction.
Okay.
If the council's in agreement.
Yeah, a question, Mayor.
Yes.
The date is May 19th, 2005, is that correct?
Come
on, wrong one. Okay,
We're on 313.
I was reading it.
So, that's what good students do. Read ahead. Anything else, Carrie, before we?
Nope.
Okay, please read this bill.
Bill number 25-040, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute an animal control and animal care contract between the city of St. Robert and the city of Waynesville.
Do I have a motion on the reading of the bill? Yes, Linda.
Motion.
Motion by Linda, second by Mike. One. Clarification, discussion, call the roll.
Glenn.
Yes.
Michael 1. Michael 2.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Reggie.
Yes.
Linda.
Yeah.
Charles.
Yes.
George.
Yes.
Carrie, second reading, please.
Bill number 25-040, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute an animal control and animal care contract between the city of St. Robert and the city of Waynesville.
Do I have a motion on the reading of the bill? Motion by Walter, second by Reggie. Clarification, discussion, call the roll.
Glenn.
Mayor, one question. Yeah. I'm assuming we'll be able to see this contract before it's executed. Is that true or false? As the city council, are we gonna be able to look at this?
Saw it last time at the city council.
Saw it wage and finance meetings too.
And it was in your packet.
Yeah, the only reason it's coming back now is because the last meeting we had, I remember bringing up the fact that we wanted a hard number in there. And that's when we went back to them, and that's when he came back and said, you can't do that. It'll be the daily going rate or whatever it is.
Okay, I see it.
Okay, clarification, discussion, call the roll.
Glenn.
Second reading, please.
Yes.
Michael one.
Yes.
Michael two.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Reggie.
Yes.
Linda.
Yeah.
Charles.
Yes.
George.
Carrie, read this ordinance, please.
Ordinance number 4150, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute an animal control and animal care contract between the city of St. Robert and the city of Waynesville.
Do I have a motion on the reading of the ordinance? Motion by Reggie, second by Mike one. Clarification, discussion, call the roll.
Glenn.
Yes.
Mike one. Michael two.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Reggie.
Yes.
Linda. Charles.
Yes.
George.
Yes.
Right, moving on to 314, an ordinance appointing members to the Joint Airport Board formed by the city of Waynesville, city of St. Robert on May 19, 2005, ratify all prior service on behalf of the city. Anita, you wanted to discuss that real quick?
Yes, Mayor Lawrenson served on the airport board, and Mayor Breckenridge wanted to be on it. And when we got to looking at it, Carrie had to dig into it and try to put years, because we didn't track that and didn't do it by ordinance. It was just part of the board appointment. So Carrie worked diligently and came up with the correct dates, and it's part of the ordinance.
Okay, awesome, thank you, Carrie. Can you read it as a bill, please?
Doesn't have numbers on it. Okay. Bill number 25-041, an ordinance appointing members to the Joint Airport Board formed by the city of Waynesville and city of St. Robert on May 19, 2005, and ratifying all prior service on behalf of the city.
Do I have a motion for reading of the bill? Motion by Linda, second by Reggie. Clarification, discussion, call the roll.
The original agreement was in 2005. And when Ms. Anita asked me to do an ordinance to get the mayor onto this board, we realized we hadn't actually been appointing people. We've had people serving on behalf of the city, but we'd never done a formal ordinance. So we're backing up for that last 20 years and saying, and blessing what everybody's been doing all along, which they've been doing a good job.
Just wanted to make it right, Charles.
Yeah.
It's a clean.
We're gonna do by ordinance still.
So the date is a swag.
Well, that was the date of the original, that was the date of the form,
When the airport board was formed.
the airport board.
Okay. All right.
And we've been diligently appointing people for the
Just
last
haven't been
20
doing
years.
it by ordinance.
Not by ordinance.
But now we are, and this thing helps us make the record. Okay, that's okay. Okay, clarification, discussion, call the roll, and reading it as a bill.
Glenn.
Yes.
Michael one.
Yes.
Michael two.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Reggie.
Yes.
Linda. Charles.
Yes.
George.
Second reading, please.
Bill number 25-041, an ordinance appointing members to the Joint Airport Board formed by the city of Waynesville and city of St. Robert on May 19, 2005, and ratifying all prior service on behalf of the city.
Do I have a motion on the reading of the bill? Motion by Mike two. Discussion, go ahead, Mike one.
In here, in section 1, it mentions John Moore. He's still gonna be serving on that.
So that is a typo that we need to fix. It should be no longer Alderman. It should be just John Moore. He will be filling a civilian role, just like the city of Waynesville. They have one civilian, or citizen, I guess not a civilian, but a citizen of the city serving on the airport board. We just need to remove I wrote the line through Alderman, because it should just be John Moore. Good catch, Wayne. Is that it? Okay, can you finish the clarification discussion, call the roll?
We need a second motion.
Oh, you did, we already went through the first one? All right, can I have a motion on the reading of the bill?
Mike two,
Mike two did it,
then we need a second.
a second on this one. I get a second by Glenn. Thank you very much. Okay, now we can do clarification discussion, call the roll.
Glenn.
Yes.
Michael one. Michael two.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Reggie.
Yes.
Linda. Charles.
Yes.
George.
Yes.
Thank you. Can we read it as ordinance, please, Karen?
Ordinance number 4151, an ordinance appointing members to the Joint Airport Board formed by the city of Waynesville and city of St. Robert on May 19, 2005, and ratifying all prior service on behalf of the city.
Do I have a motion on the reading of the ordinance? Motion by Linda, second by Charles. Clarification, discussion, call the roll.
Glenn.
Yes.
Michael one.
Yes.
Michael two.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Reggie.
Yes.
Linda. Charles.
Yes.
George.
Right, moving on, we are now into comments by the aldermen. We'll start down with our former mayor, good George.
Thanks for the jacket. I got some more.
Yeah, he came out really great. That's pretty phenomenal. Yeah. Thanks, Charles.
Yes, it's good to be on the council again.
But
I like the motion that, the council chambers be dedicated to Mayor George Marston, and that, a plaque be placed on the chamber door honoring his longevity of service. That the plaque should not exceed $3,000. And on the plaque, it should read, "This term of services for the city of St. Robert." And that's my motion.
okay. So from here, do we have a second? And I'm totally caught off guard. So second by Reggie. Okay. I guess clarification, discussion, call the roll. Actually, I guess I'm kind of. Oh, yeah. I definitely support that.
Yeah,
But they're rolling it out there like.
Well, I mean, it was the Alderman.
Since 1970, we've only had 5 mayors. You had P.R. Lynch for 10 years, and you had Don Scott for 12, and then you had me for 8. George Standards was 10, and now I have 10.
Yeah.
So that's a long time for 5 mayors.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely, agree 100%.
Is we in the right form to do this? Right time? Well, it's up to the
I
mayor.
think we have to have an ordinance.
In the right form.
Finance committee.
I mean, yeah, we are spending money, so probably finance committee.
Yeah.
Could we table this, Charles? Yeah. I definitely don't want to take it off the table, because I definitely think we should definitely acknowledge our former mayor's service, right? I mean, he's here with us, and I don't want to talk to him like he's not here. I think we should definitely honor him. And just don't know that we need to do our homework and figure out the money and what we want to do and all those things, so.
Did she capture what I said?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Mayor,
Yeah, she got it.
Mayor, the proper, because it's not on the agenda. So tabling it for further discussion and review is probably what you need to do because it's not on the agenda. I'm sorry, but, what y'all do there is fine, but I believe that the mayor is making the right procedural position here.
Okay. All right, thanks, I appreciate it. We won't table it. We got it down. Anita, what I would like to ask is this to go to a committee.
Okay,
And let them work the eaches. And then once it's done, then we can bring it forward, as an agenda item.
Okay.
And then we can move forward. And I will say, we don't have to do it all in one swoop. If it's the quick win first, we can do a quick win first and get something across the finish line. We can, like, for instance, money wise.
right.
We need to do something quick, we can do it, and then we can follow along with other things like bronze plaques and bronze statues and stuff like that.
Okay.
I'm joking. We're gonna do one of George Leonard one on Fort Leonard, but why not do one of George Washington as we drive into 44 now? But
On this, I was just gonna say, you're on the wage and finance committee, right?
Yeah.
If we're gonna discuss this at wage and finance, why don't you find out ahead of time how much you think a plaque would be? So when we discuss it, we have some idea of what we're discussing.
It costs about $2,500.
all right, so before we start talking anymore, so I'm not, Anita, find a committee to do this, even if you have to assemble a special one, then that will go to the wage and finance for the spending of it and then come forward. Okay. So
Okay,
if we have to do a special committee for this, then let's do that. So
okay.
what I don't want to do is I don't want to throw it right into wage finance. Right, so.
The only other thing I have is, we have been waiting, I'd say almost a year for all of those trailers to get removed at the end of Plattner, and they are still not removed. I was told they were supposed to be gone in January, and then I was told she had an extension till June. I don't see any of them. I don't see that last, huh? So, well, Jeremy, is that his name?
Jeremy.
He said George is gonna give her an extension for 6 months. She really doesn't have to get them out until June, but they need to be out. It's a
She
hazard.
can't take the trailer, it's got a haircut. And
She got 2 of them out, but the one that's still there is just barely standing there, and it's a hazard. I
it's
mean,
supposed to be moving, but
I'd like for those to be moved. If somebody could talk to Jeremy about that and ask him
I will.
what the holdup is.
The June providing time,
it should have been out by
maybe, but will June really be that?
She gonna have to move fast if she gets it out by June.
Okay.
It took her 6 months to get the other ones out, so I don't know.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Great, thanks, I appreciate that. Anything else?
No.
Perfect, thank you, Reggie.
I want to say congratulations to all the new aldermen here and, welcome I too. And,
We got 2 colonels on here.
yeah, Mr. Charles and Mr. George.
Well, I have to say thanks to you.
Thanks.
And thanks to our new mayor. Yes, I did. But,
Get the gavel.
that was, I guess, him and I talked so much, till I just look at him as being here forever.
Thanks, Reggie, appreciate it. Anything else?
No.
Walter? Ed?
Yeah. Thanks for electing Mayor Pro Tem. I'm going to look forward to learning as much as I can and try to help the process along. And I just appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
The city council made a perfect selection, so thank you.
I appreciate it.
Mike too, is a new guy.
It's an honor to serve the great city of St. Robert. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for stepping up. That's really our thanks to you. Mike one.
Congratulations to everybody on their election and to your.
Mike two.
Yeah, I'll extend the congratulations from all, and I'm also going to look forward to moving forward. Not saying we never did move backwards, but it's always nice to move forward. Because the community is a great community, there's a lot of concerns and people talk and complicated, we know this. So looking forward to move forward in a professional manner and make the city grow where it needs to be, catch up, basically. And congratulations, everyone.
Well, thanks, Glenn. Appreciate it. Yes, sir.
And let's thank John Moore for his service to the council, just, so.
Well, I will tell you, that's a great point. And I called John and asked him to remain connected to the city council, to remain on the airport board. Because I wanted to match what Sean Wilson and I talked about, making sure that they have a citizen of Waynesville. We wanted to have a citizen of St. Robert. So I called John personally, thanked him and asked him to do that, and he was very gracious to do that. So he will continue to serve our great community, just in a different facet. So thanks for that, Walter. Appreciate that. All right, moving on to number 5, comments by me. I just want to publicly thank George Lawrenson. I mean, I got it. He's going to be on the city council with us, and he's going to be able to impart much wisdom on me and all of us, but really for his many years of service. I'll just never forget serving on Fort Leonard Wood, especially as Ms. Garcia said during COVID, where we struggled as an installation. You guys struggled as a city, but we worked together, and I'll never forget those times. And George, you have a special place in my heart and a dear friend. So thank you very much for your service as the mayor for all these years, and look forward to continue serving with you. Our next regular Board of Aldermen meeting is May 6, 2025 at 5 p.m. Now we're going to do we're probably going to mess this up. So vote to close the meeting. Meeting is being closed pursuant to Missouri Law, Chapter 610.021. We include 6.1 legal, 6.2 real estate, 6.3 personnel. Do I have a motion to close the meeting?
We don't need a closed, Mayor. We just need to adjourn.
Oh, okay, that's what I meant to do. That's why I said no closed meetings. We got to keep going. All right, so just a straight motion to adjourn? Yes.
Well, did you say earlier in the meeting we were going to go?
Oh, Anita, can you give me the committee things that
Yes.
are done? Yep. So
she had to put the new cell phone number on it. That's why I wasn't able to hand them out right away. But it's got my new cell phone number on there. Obviously, most of you have my personal cell phone number, which you can still call me on. I'll carry both. But I just wanted to get started, with the right number at the top. Pass those down, Glenn. There should be folders for everybody. Oh, one folder per city council member. We're missing one. No, we're missing one. Oh, no, we're good. We're good. We're good to go. Yeah, we're good to go. We don't need to vote on that, right? Because those are my selections, right? Okay,
Right.
perfect. If you have any discussions or issues with any of them, please let me know off the top of my head. But I spent a couple of hours last night working on these to make sure we could get through that and not have to worry about it. Any questions before we adjourn? Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn? Motion by Mike 2, second by Walter.
We got a question.
Yes, sure, Mayor.
Not to pick on, but the three that you got me on
Yes, sir.
are not standing committees. Wage and Finance, Emergency Services, and Public Works. The military standing committees we have. These are the extraneous committees. Back in the same, and the EA, haven't met in the last 10 years. So that's not.
Yeah,
One, actually, the mayor pro tem is supposed to put people on committees.
That's not the ordinance I read. The ordinance that I read, says, what did I do with my ordinance? The ordinance that I read says the mayor selects, the committee members. That's what I read.
The legislative committee, and I don't think that's.
I don't even know what I just saw my folders. No, it was a thicker one. No, there we go. Thanks. Basically, it says, the following committees are established by the Board of Aldermen, Public Works, Gas, Utility Sheets, and Emergency Services. I'm gonna just, Public Works, Emergency Services, Wage and Finance. And where was the one that I?
3.
Oh, there it says 3. Thank you. Thank you. I knew I read it somewhere. The mayor of the city of St. Robert shall have the authority to establish the number of members and to appoint the members constituting a said committees set forth in section 1 of the ordinance. The number of members composing said committees shall be at the discretion of the mayor. Now, what I did ask Anita to do, is to, and I'm going to say an army word, and so please forgive me, but create a battle rhythm. We are going to establish committees on a reoccurring basis. And I know we haven't been doing that. We've always been like, we need one, do we need this, whatever? No. What I'm going to ask her to do is set up like the first Wednesday is going to be Parks and Recreation. First Thursday is going to be taxi. We're going to get these committees up and running. And the intent behind them is not just to sit and do nothing, is to find things that we can do to improve our city, like Parks and Recreation. Right? I'm going to challenge the Parks and Recreation. I think that's Gene Newkirk, right?
Right, he's chair.
Challenge him to not just focus on what we've been doing, but to focus on, okay, what can we do as a Parks and Recreation Committee to help improve the city, to take the city council and ask for money to build a new park? That's what I need done. And the same thing with all the other committees. So what I did is basically kept the people that were already in the same committees that they were in. My 2, you took my committees, basically, right? You just filled mine in. And so that's how I did that, George. The only one that I changed was
Mine.
yours. Did I change yours?
Yeah, because I'm not on emergency services anymore. I'm now on Parks and Recreation. I've got on emergency services.
Volunteer committee.
Which one, the emergency
I've been on
services?
the at any time serving.
Okay, and you weren't on Public Works?
No, I was on Public Works. I'm not on Parks and Recreation.
Okay.
Okay, we will substitute emergency, I must have missed that one, I do apologize. I thought I had the right number of emergency services folks with Walter being the chair. Do you have a question?
Yeah, well, I mean, you could put George, you could give George either Public Works or Emergency Services, because he's not on a authorized committee, is what he's saying.
I understand what you're saying, yeah.
And then Michael every
Well, you might want to just look at it and present it later, just because that would give us 5 on emergency services if we move Michael, so we'll need to take one off.
So you could
But we don't, we're not bound by a number. I can appoint 30
Right.
people to it, so I'm not worried about going to 5. I just want to have a somewhat equal disposition with, yeah, okay. Let me go back and, look at that. I'm gonna look at, swapping Mike out, Mike 1 for park and recreation for emergency service, put it back on his original one. And then I'll look to, George to where we can plug in another one. So Anita, we're gonna go ahead and, everybody else is good except those 2, so we can go ahead and move out, but when I get back from my trip, if we can go ahead and finalize this, Anita?
Yes.
Yeah.
What is St. Robert 98? I'm not into that. What is it? Development Association, is that right?
Yeah.
We got a grant for the fire station, and we had to do an IDA for it.
It's not the fire.
It's not.
No, this is on the fire station. We got a 0% interest grant to build it. And we had to have it, Tice had to run it through an IDA.
And when I was told everybody's gotta be on it.
Right, well, we put everybody on it, Tice did.
Okay. Yes.
It looks like everybody is on one major committee, is that how it is on here?
Not everybody. Well,
Except George, and then you would put Michael Public Works and Emergency, so take one of those and give them to George, that sounds.
yeah, okay. We're gonna look at that. Yep. That was my mistake. I appreciate you catching that. We will look at that and get that squared away. And I'll present this again officially with the correct cell phone number on top at the next board meeting, okay?
Okay.
So Anita, do you have all the notes or do you want my notes?
I'll take yours.
Yep, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
And keep this for me too, please, Andy. Because I can't. For some reason I lost those fluffy beads. I don't know what I did. Okay. All right, sorry about that. We'll get that fixed. All right. Now we're ready to adjourn the meeting. We got the motion already? Second?
We have a second.
Call the roll?
Yes.
Call the roll, please.
Glenn.
Yes.
Michael 1.
Yes.
Michael 2.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Reggie.
Yes.
Linda. Charles.
Yes.
George.
Yes.
And that's it, folks. That's it. George.